What's up guys, Chris with Short Quick Tech here, doing a new type of content, trying to do a vlog for the first time, mainly because I've been watching a lot of Bitwit lately. Recently I found a pretty good deal on a mostly working PC on Facebook Marketplace, so I was going to do a little bit of a vlog on me going and picking it up. First thing we're doing is going to go to the bank and getting out some money. And after a short drive, we were at our first stop of the day. We are at the bank. Now the parts I am buying were only about $50, so I'm just gonna hope I can actually withdraw only $50 from the ATM. For some reason, at some of these ATMs at this Bank of America, they only let me withdraw 20s. There we go, and with that out of the way, I was able to get the money. Looks like I was able to withdraw in 2 20s and a 10. So I got exactly enough. The bank actually let me withdraw in the amounts I was wanting to get my money out in. I'm not sure if it was just that one ATM I went to, but yeah, one of the ATMs like only was withdrawn 20s. But next up, we are trying to go to the Little Caesars behind me, which I can't really even check. Because I didn't realize this until now, the DJI Osmo Mobile doesn't let you switch your camera view when you're recording videos. So I'm going to be right back while I get my food. I'll mention real quick that it may seem like there are some gaps in footage, and that's because I like to respect people's privacy for the most part, and I'm wary of who I record. There we go, and with that, the Little Caesars has been acquired. Got some breadsticks, stuffed cheesy bread, and actual breadsticks. I'm gonna go ahead and eat this up real quick, then I'm gonna be on the road to go and pick up the PC parts. And it's gonna be a 30-minute drive, so I gotta eat this because I haven't really eaten all day, and they're cheap and quick, so see you in a bit. Now, with all this preparation to get the PC out of the way, I had to wonder, was anything actually wrong with the PC? How did they determine the motherboard and GPU were broken? And what motherboard was in this thing? Am I gonna get killed or robbed? Well, we get to figure this out later once I actually pick up the PC. Alright, 40 minutes and 36 miles later, I am now in the parking lot of where I'm gonna be meeting this dude to, hopefully pick up a couple PC parts. Yeah, I got my $50 in my pocket, hoping he shows up on time and I don't gotta sit here for too long. Considering I got here like 20 minutes early, we'll see. And here we go, looks like we got the PC. It does have a few different parts in it, mainly a Ryzen 5 3600. Leave a broken... Oh no, sorry. There's supposed to be a couple GPUs. I know he was including a broken GTX 1060 in there and also a 590 AMD GPU in there. Like 16 gigs of RAM, power supply, CPU cooler, a couple other things. I'm gonna go ahead and take this home and see if it works out of the box, or maybe he was lying about the motherboard and GPUs being broken, but you know, hopefully it works and I don't have to do anything. I can just resell it. Alright, looks like we got the PC back in the home. Let's go ahead and see what we have inside. Looks like the case is already coming off. So inside they got a couple random connectors, things that goes on the PCIe slot. Looks like they included the GTX 1060. Oop, shit. Along with the other graphics card, I completely forgot what it's called. Supposed to be the Ryzen 5 3600 in there, along with the fan. Got some RAM. Motherboard is supposed to be shot. Not sure what's wrong with it. I'm going to be looking at that later. The power supply is already all connected in there, so I'm going to go ahead and try and get this all plugged in and see if it turns on. Alright, looks like we got most of it all plugged in here. Gonna try plugging this in for the first time, seeing if it actually boots up. Okay. Okay, light turns on. Where the hell's the power? Okay. Oh, shit. Oh. Now let's see what happens. Do we get any video? Looking like a no. Okay, does this thing have any other display ports on here? It's got one other one. Let's try it there, see if anything else happens. It all turns on. Something just not plugged in. So that's not turning on. Keyboard's not turning on. Maybe they just didn't plug in the USB power. Go ahead and turn off the recording, see if I can get these to work. So, slight update on the PC. Turns out it might not be the GPUs that are broken, as I did switch out the RX 590 that was in there with my GTX 1650 Super sitting around. Replaced it with that, reseated the RAM, still not working. It turns out the motherboard is a ROG Strix B350 Gaming. So what I'm thinking is that the motherboard just never got a BIOS update or a chipset update, so I went ahead and ordered a Ryzen something 1300X. I'm going to go ahead and replace it with that, or the 3600 with that. Then we'll see if it works, and if I can update the BIOS and then get that working. Alright, so another update on the PC. I did some work on it this weekend with my father-in-law, mainly because he knows how to do computer stuff, and so do I, so I thought it'd be kind of fun to, work on a PC with him. So we did some work off screen on trying to get this thing to work. So for the video, I'm just going to go over what we tried to do. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at what we did. Mainly just going to go over what we did and tell you what didn't work. So the first things we did was making sure all the different cables and everything was all plugged in properly. GPU was plugged in, motherboard power was plugged in properly. Now the RAM, I'm not entirely sure about. He thinks it was supposed to go into A1, A2. From what I am knowledgeable of, I think it's supposed to be A2, B2. So that's how it's supposed to be for dual channel RAM. So we're gonna go ahead and stick that in the correct spot, if I can do it with one hand. Hold on. There we go, RAM should be in there properly now. Next thing we did was, because we weren't sure about the CPU, because we think that there's a 3600X in there, one of the next things we did is we plopped out the CPU and the cooler, took out my Ryzen 3200G, put this thing in there, put the cooler back on, powered it on. When we tried to do that, the computer, didn't display anything. So after a bit of messing around, making sure everything was plugged in properly again, we took this one out, put in the Ryzen 1300X, powered on the computer again. Then when we did that, well, it turns out this one actually worked. Now my initial thoughts is because I thought the motherboard and the BIOS was out of date, because what I was told is that the CPU in this thing is supposed to be a Ryzen 5 3600X. Turns out what's in there is a Ryzen 5 1600X, not 3600. So I was very confused on why two CPUs from the same generation wouldn't work with the same BIOS. Turns out this one was actually supported on the first BIOS release for this PC, and the 1600X was actually usable on the second version. Basically, we just took this thing, put this thing in there. While this thing was in there, we went ahead and grabbed a flash drive, loaded up the BIOS onto it, stuck it in the back, turned it on again, updated the BIOS. Then when we were done with that, obviously shoved the 1600 back in there, and we turned it back on, the PC turned on properly. So I don't think anything was actually wrong with the PC, except that they didn't update their BIOS. Alright, and just to prove that we got the PC working, let's go ahead and turn this bad boy on. Hit the switch, hit the button, gonna get inside of there. Got the little motherboard light changing colors, goes green. Let's bring her up. And she's now displaying ROG. If it did properly, it should just go ahead and boot into Windows. As we did go ahead and find a 128GB SSD and just shoved it in there. So it's not actually latched in there or anything, and there we go. PC is now working. So with the computer fixed now, you may be wondering what I plan on doing with it. Especially because I now have the fixed PC, my server, and my actual gaming PC up there. I would now have 3 computers that I don't really know what to do with. It's nothing with the extra one. What I initially planned on doing with the extra PC was giving it to my niece, except when I tried to give it to my parents who are watching over my niece, they thought I should just go ahead and sell it. Especially because I got it for 50 bucks, I can probably get a pretty good deal out of it. I'm probably going to go ahead and try to sell the RX 590 that was in it for about $75, maybe 50, just get the money back right off of that. Then I'm probably going to go ahead and try and sell the actual PC here for about 1600. 1600 is the CPU in it. Probably going to try and sell it for 200 or 250 and then, go from there. But hey, if you like the new type of content, go ahead and leave a comment down below, tell me how I did, or just leave a like as I prefer those.